Hello! Here to do another book review. And this one, again, is on an adult book, although I will be doing a review on a children's book here in a little bit. This review is on Lindsey Lost by Suzanne Marie Phillips. First off, the cover is beautiful in an icy kind of way. I think it also causes a little bit of creepiness in it. I was immediately drawn to this cover, as was my husband. He was like, I think you should get that. He was like, that looks like your type of book. So I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to. And so it's kind of slow in the beginning. It really is. It's kind of slow. But the character development is really on. Like, the character, you really feel for him. He's a very sympathetic character. You will really, and, oh, the suspense. This is like a nail biting, and to me, almost like, and I think this is my problem with like mysteries or things like that, is that when I read them, the middle seems too long for me because I'm like, okay, get to the climax. I think that's why I like action and fantasy and epic fantasy and things, because there's action all the way throughout it. And in this, it's not so much like outside conflict, it's internal conflict. So I think that dampened the book for me a little bit, but it wasn't a bad book. Like, I mean, I read it, it took me 2 days, whereas a good book this size usually only takes me like a couple of hours. I had to be it had to be completely quiet so that I could focus on reading it. All in all, I give it a 4 out of 5 stars, and honestly, that's just my personal taste. That has nothing to say with the book. Like, if you like mysteries, or you like, those Harlequin romance intrigue novels or things like that, you'll probably really, really like this. There was one really big shock in the book that I wasn't expecting. Like, I think the ending is pretty, like, you could probably guess who the bad guy was. But there was, like, a little piece in the puzzle that I hadn't even guessed was there. Because there was no inclination that it was there. It was just like, boom, bomb. It was like a boom, bomb, and, you didn't see it coming. Also, if you hear weird noises right now, my co-reviewer, Roxy the cat, is on my lap, and she's asleep right now, but she keeps making, like, these little noises while she's sleeping. Oh, I think I just woke her up. Anyway, 4 out of 5 star book. Not bad. So, I'd pick it up and read it. If you read it and you thought that it was a 5-star book, let me know. And if you haven't read it, pick it up because it is worth a read. I think it's worth keeping around on the shelf if you, like, really were in the mood for something different. Like, sometimes I read so much of the same type of stuff, like, I have to have something different or something that I've never heard of, because it just breaks the monotony. Like, if I read fantasy, like, all the time, like, if I read all 7 Harry Potter books, all of the Inheritance Cycle, all the Vampire Chronicles, all together, like, mashed up, and sometimes I actually do that, and it's all mashed together. Eventually I get what I call reading overload, and then I have to like take a break and like read like either a like what they consider children's book, like Nancy Drew, the Hardy Boys. What else is another good one? Levin Thumps, something like that, something that I don't have to think about. And this would be nice for one of those times, but here lately I've been reading a lot of standalone novels and stuff that's not really causing me to like think and get stuck in one author's style. So I think I might have enjoyed it more if I'd read it at a different time. I will, however, say that if you don't think that you like a book, keep it around and read it like a couple years later, because, and I always hate to say this, but initially when I read Twilight, I really, really liked it. And then as I read it again, I kept finding all these mistakes, and then I started thinking about what I was reading, and I was like, Edward's kind of like an abusive, classic stalker-like boyfriend, and that kind of creeped me out a little bit. And I haven't been able to enjoy the series since. Whereas when I first read Memnoch the Devil in the Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice, I couldn't get through it. Like, I was utterly so bored that I had put the book down. I was like, nope, I'll never read this again. I actually stopped on the series. I just couldn't do it. And then I think it was like 2 years later, I read it, and I loved it. And I reread it all the time now. And it's my favorite one of the series. So, your tastes change with years. Also, I think if you really like a book, read it twice, because you might not like it as much the second time. When I read a book, I really try to look at what I'm reading and to think about what I'm reading before I do a review on it. And this one was just, I really liked it, but it wasn't perfect to my taste. So to me, it's not a 5-star book. But to somebody who likes mysteries, this might be a very nice 5-star book that's short and gets the point across without dragging it through the mud. So, pick it up. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you again soon. And hopefully Roxy will be awake for the next review. But, just so you can see, there's her ears. She's actually halfway sleeping underneath my laptop. So I can't actually get the camera all the way down there to her. But, you see what I mean. Anyway, so like, comment, and subscribe. And have fun reading.